Hey, what's up, everybody? The moment's finally here.
Yeah, we are at episode 25.
Yeah.
And we're reviewing it together. We were going to review 27 together.
26.
No, 27.
Oh, right.
But, life.
Yeah. So let's see what happened. So, let's just say, can't even believe we're here right now.
I know, right? We're finally here.
Yeah. We're actually, in the next couple of hours or so, we're gonna finally finish this show.
Exactly. It's been we've been talking. We first started the show when I was 15.
Yeah. So, and then we've been just. We were already supposed to have been at 27, but real life kind of got in the way with my tests and things like that.
Right, and we watched 25 like 2 hours before I had to leave for the airport. So.
Yeah, and that's when Skype and Netflix were both just decided not to cooperate with us.
Yeah.
And also we would have had to rush 25's review, but there's something very significant that happened in this.
I thought this happened in 26.
Yeah.
It happens in 25, and we cannot we gotta really talk about this one. This changes the entire show.
Yeah. And we should be we're not gonna have any issues because we're actually here together. So unless my computer falls on the ground or something.
Oh, don't even jinx it.
Yeah, let's talk about this episode. I want you guys to remember the name and the 2 dates.
Yeah.
This episode is called Silence, which
it ties into what happens with a certain character.
Yep. And it came out on April 3rd, 2007. And then April 13th, the one in Japan. And then April 13th, 2008, the one in, the one we're watching, the English dub version. Remember those 2 dates, though. Those are very significant to a Death Note fan.
Yeah. The dates that changed.
Well, the anime version, anyways. The day that changed Death Note. Mm-hmm. So, the episode starts off with showing the past, a little clip of it, of... obviously with L as a kid.
And Watari, and you were even surprised at this. You didn't think that Watari and L knew each other that long.
Yeah, I thought, because you see L's at an orphanage, and you see the church bell ringing, and this is, and you kind of knew this was L because it's in the UK, and if you know L's history, he spent some time in the UK. So.
Right, and he's a white guy in Japan, so
yeah.
It's
but what we didn't know. No, is that L was an orphan. I don't think they told you that ahead of time.
No, they didn't.
And
we still don't know L's real name, by the way.
Yeah. And Watari and L, like we talked about, I didn't know they knew each other. I just thought he was L's butler, but you got to really see here that, he was a father figure to L. Which, was, very, really pretty awesome because, it just kind of shows, the relationship that they have with each other and stuff.
Yeah, it explains why Watari is, so loyal to him.
Yeah.
Which we see later on in this episode, how far that went.
Yeah. And, then we kind of cut back to the present. We see L is questioning, Rem about the Death Note. And, what he's mainly questioning is, if you can use the Death Note, by ripping a page off, if it still has the same power.
Right, because L had noticed that there's, a couple pages ripped.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and two, that was the page that, Rem ripped, so that way,
yeah, she could, tell Misa, so Misa could see her.
Yeah. So, Rem's not really, obviously giving L the answers that really he wants. He's just kind of, half-assing it pretty much.
Right, kind of half-truthing.
Yeah.
She was I don't know, I never, heard of it, but, it's possible.
Yeah. And I just love you see in the background Light being a creep watching all this go down.
Right, and you see through the glass stairwell his face is a little this off.
Yeah.
Kind of showing he's just pure evil, gunning for L.
And you could see it more so now since he got his memories back. When they show he's more when they show the blue and the he's more red now than he ever has been before.
I feel Light is as evil as he's ever been.
Yeah.
I feel it's funny. When he lost his memories, he was as good as he's been.
Yeah.
And now he's more evil than ever.
Yeah. Especially at the
because he's so close to his goal. Everything went exactly as he wanted.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think we should talk about this because we didn't rush it, but we really didn't bring it up. Light planned this exactly, but I don't think it went exactly like Light wanted it to go. I don't think the way that Higuchi got caught was the way he had planned it.
Right. Like, I didn't think he planned on, like, a giant car chase. I don't think he planned on Misa, like, being the one to, like, figure out he's Kira. Things like that.
Well, maybe, because, had Rem...
well, yeah, he told Rem to, like, show Misa the Death Note.
But he basically had the bullet points of, like, what he wanted to happen. It just,
general outline,
yeah. Even I was like, dude, like, go back to your life, man. Like, you don't need to be, like,
he's not handcuffed to L anymore.
Yeah. But, like, basically, but I think that's kind of, like, raising our suspicions again. Like, that Light's still kind of, invested in the case when he kind of doesn't really need to be anymore. Right. Because we saw that more in the last episode, and then, Misa's still there, and she, they talk off camera, well, not off camera, but out of, like, sound view and stuff, and we find out that Misa's been doing all the killings for Light,
in a really creepy montage of her, like, singing as people die.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, actually, because obviously Light can't do any of the killings because his Death Note's, being investigated by the police.
Right, can't be like, hey, Elle, I'm going to take this Death Note to the bathroom for like 5 hours, just not a big deal.
Yeah. Especially too, I was not going to let that slide. Like,
no, absolutely not.
I mean, maybe he would get away with it maybe like once, but like, you're not going to get away with it more than once.
Yeah.
So.
Man, it's really, Matsuda's like, man, it's really weird Light keeps taking the Death Note to the bathroom like every day.
Yeah, like, I imagine too, I was just like,
sure, it's nothing.
Yeah, so it's nothing. So make no sense. So then, but basically, like, the entire story of Elle in this episode kind of was, him trying to figure out, like, what this page was of the Death Note. Because he knows Rem's not telling him the full truth. So,
and, like, the 2 rules that Light wrote down that aren't true are, like, the only thing that's screwing up his, like, theory.
Yeah.
Like, if he knew that, like, you could write names, like, write rules that aren't actually true.
Yeah.
Like, this whole, he even said himself, like, the only thing getting in the way of, like, what I think are these 2 rules.
Yeah. So, and he notices, like, killings have started happening again, and he kind of connects it towards Misa.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, like, he kind of figures out, like, maybe at one point she was the second killer. So then this was an awesome scene right here. Like, Rem realizes what more of Light's plan.
Because like Elle mentions, like, if we find whoever Kira is, they'll, like, get execution or life in prison, like, at least.
And Rem realizes that Misa's been doing killings again and stuff. So this was awesome because, like, we talked about this off camera. We got to see Light's culmination of the plan in the last episode. But in this episode, like, you really kind of just see even more of it. Like, Rem realizes, like, Light had more plan than what,
than just, like, having Higuchi die.
Yeah. Like, he realizes now, like, she realizes now, that, now if she kills Elle, she's doing it because she cares about Misa, so it's going to cost her life now as well. So now Light's going to get rid of 2 birds with 1 stone now, pretty much.
He basically, Rem hates Light and would want to kill him the second he steps out of line.
Yeah, but now...
And Al's obviously, like, a big threat to him. Yeah. So it's like he gets rid of 2.
Yeah,
But, like, he knew Rem would only kill Elle if she absolutely had to.
Yeah.
And, like, now he like, because Misa's killing again because Light told her to.
Yeah.
Like, Rem has to kill Elle or Elle will catch Misa.
Yeah. And I just love this scene, too, like, because, like, we have, like, a theory that, like, the Shinigami can read the human minds, because, like, when you see Light thinking about something, like, you will know about it, kind of, and stuff.
Right.
But, like, here, because Light's so small, like, he could tell by the look on Rem's face, like, he instantly knew she finally figured out his plan.
Yeah, like, you see, like, a small smile, and then it zooms in on his face, and he's just, like, red eyes, like, pure evil, like grinning. He's like, what are you gonna do, Rem?
Yeah, and, it was pretty, like, damn awesome. And we talked about this just before we did this review. It just shows, like, how much more evil Light is now. Like, he's more evil now than a Shinigami who's, like, a god of death now at this point.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Like, he is, pure evil. Like, there's no redeeming him.
Yeah. And then, we get to, like, probably, like, the strangest scene in this episode, but, like, so strange that it's good. Why don't you talk about like the scene with Light and L that happens before the big scene?
Yeah, L is standing outside in the pouring rain, and Light's like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Al is saying, "I hear church bells," and this ties into earlier in the episode with the church bells, and later on in the episode with the church bells. Mm-hmm. And Al asks him like about humans and lying. Mm-hmm. Light thinks there's nothing wrong with people lying because it's just a human thing, and everyone does it from time to time.
Yeah.
Al figures that's what Light would say and says, "Hey, let's just go back inside."
Yeah. And the
really weird part is like when Al like starts like rubbing like Light's foot like to dry him off.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like sweet because it's like Al is like so socially awkward. He's just like trying to be nice.
Yeah.
But it comes off as like super like gay.
And you pointed this out. What's Light's last name?
I'm gay.
Backwards. Yep.
Light, I'm gay. I'm the first person to make that joke.
Yep.
I'm not. Everyone makes that joke.
Yeah. And this is like awesome because like you could tell like Elle's acting like more strange than usual in this scene, and when we talk about the end, like obviously like I didn't see this end coming at all, but when you watch it back, when you watch like this scene, you can kind of tell the end is right. Even Elle knows the end is coming. Yeah, because
like Elle was like, "It's a shame our time together is coming to a close."
Yeah.
So like he kind of knew that something was going to happen to him.
And when I watched this scene, I thought like it meant like, they were going to solve the case or something. Mm-hmm. Like I think that's what we were all supposed to thought, like, when we solved this case, but it meant a lot more towards the end. So then Elle goes back into like the main,
But this scene is like why I thought like Elle truly was like telling the truth when he said, "Light, I consider Light my only friend."
Yeah.
Or my first friend.
And Elle goes into like the main headquarters, where they watch like the cameras and stuff. And he wants to test the death note out himself. So he's gonna have like some prisoner who's supposed to get like executed anyways. He's gonna write his name in the death note.
And if he doesn't, well, I think it was like, wasn't it like he was gonna have another death row inmate write the name of another death row inmate, or was it he was gonna himself write the name? I don't remember. Well, either way.
You know what? Like, we'll just say this, like, because this scene is so intense, like, we know, we paid attention, like, we know something like that's gonna happen, because there's the whole 13-day rule thing. I think it was him, because, like, everyone was kind of talking him out of it, I think.
Right. And then if he doesn't die in 13 days, then they know those two rules are fake.
Yeah, and, he'll get pardoned, too, of, like, all his crimes and stuff.
Well, he'll get pardoned out of execution. Like, he would still need to be in jail.
And, like, this moment right here, like, had this plan worked, probably would have solved the case right here. Mm-hmm. He even says this, too, like,
And then that's when Ram realized, like, okay, like, if Elle goes through with this, they'll catch Misa.
Yeah. So, she kills Watari.
Like, writes his name in the death note, probably has a heart attack.
Yeah, I like the images that they use for this, too. Like how it would zoom in, like, of actually, like, her writing his, like, the names.
Like, Death Note is really good with, like, camera angles and, like, making everything seem epic. Like, when you're just writing a name in a notebook. Yeah. Makes that seem epic.
And Watari, like, presses a button that deletes all, like, files of, everything that's going on with this case.
Right. Because this is what Elle had told him to do. In the event anything happens to him, delete all the data.
And this kind of, like, really, really showed, like, the relationship, too, that, like, because Elle was, like, very concerned, like, once that delete all thing came up, too. Like,
right. Like, he was like, Watari, you okay?
Yeah.
And Watari, like, he's, like, dying, like, having a heart attack. Yeah. But he's, like, looking at Elle through the camera and, like, is able to, like, delete all the data before he dies.
Imagine, too, like, that scene could have been different if, like, he didn't, like, he just died right before he pressed the button, too.
I know, right, because they would still have all, like, their, everything they need. But that kind of shows, like, Watari, did care about Elle. Like, Watari doesn't get a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
But, like, it shows, like, he was basically, like, Elle's father.
So then, Rem writes, Elle's name, his real name, into the death note.
Yeah, we still don't know what Elle's real name is. But...
And... Elle falls to the floor, and he lands right in Light's arms, and he's gonna die. And I really love this scene because you just see Light and Elle, like, looking into each other's eyes, and Light does the evil smile, And this is like right when L knew all along he was Kira.
Right. So it's kind of like I had told Owen like Light and L, they both got a lot of like by the end of the show they had both won and they both lost. For L, this is one of those like win and lose moments.
Yeah.
Where he got to like die knowing like he was right. Like Kira was L, Kira was Light, but he couldn't do anything about it. You know, he still died.
Yeah, and then Light.
And he sees the flashbacks like of his childhood and the orphanage and like the church bells.
Yeah, and this is too like when Light won and lost because he finally succeeded in his goal and killed L, and we'll get into what happens. And his plan worked.
And because Rem had written Elle's name in a notebook to save Misa, she had killed herself.
Yeah. And Light also lost, though, because Elle finally figured out he was Kira.
Right. And his dying moments.
Yeah.
And you can tell he figured it out because his eyes went wide before he died.
Then Light has to play along, though, because he has to pretend he gets everyone afraid now, thinking that Rem's gonna kill all of them.
Right, because he has to act like he doesn't know that Rem's dead right now.
Yeah. And he goes though into the room where Walter was, and we see that Rem just turned into sand because she died.
And Light picks up her death note and hides it in his shirt.
Yeah. And pretty much everyone sees this. And but they don't know this was the remains of Rem though. They just think it's just, I guess someone just went and dumped a sandbox in the room.
Weird, man. Elle was really weird about that. They were even what does this mean? Like what happened?
Yeah. And Light even says we're gonna solve this case to avenge Elle's death. And everyone's kind of afraid now because they know now they know for sure now this could possibly cost them their lives.
Right.
And Light says, and he actually kind of takes one of Elle's old lines: "We have to do this no matter if it does cost us our lives."
Right, we all chose to be here and knowing the consequences.
And
Matsuda says, you sound just like Elle.
And basically now this was when Light even pointed this plan out when he had no memories. This is what he wanted. He wanted to become Elle.
So he could have control over all the police organizations. And he's the one gunning the case for Kira. Yeah. So obviously if he's the one running the case to catch himself, he'll be able to make sure Elle never finds Kira. Yeah.
And the episode ends with Light saying to himself, "I finally got rid of everyone in my way." Shows him with the evil smile. End credits.
Yep. I am the god of the new world.
And this episode's awesome. A+. This
is my favorite episode. I haven't seen the remaining episodes before the finale.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite episode of Death Note. I think.
It's gonna be tough to top too.
Right.
Especially like we talked about.
I love it when Light is the most evil bastard ever, and this episode was him at prime evil.
Yeah. And we talked about this. We didn't really. This kind of goes back because Elle knew he was gonna die because with the way he was acting, outside in the rain, with the way he was acting when he was cleaning off Light, he knew he was gonna die. And the worst part about it is he knew no matter what happened, there was nothing he was gonna be able to do about it.
Right. So he tried his best at the very end to catch Kira, and he did in a way. He was able to pin Light is Kira.
Yeah. So,
it's a little sad for him, though, knowing that he died in his best friend's arms, and his best friend was the one that killed him.
Yeah, he's buried in his best friend who became his worst enemy.
Right.
And and I think too, you could say too, he probably didn't fully piece together what was going on, but I think Elle's so smart, he even knew I think he was just quickly right before he died, Light's plan, he even knew Light erased his memories that everything just clicked for right
and he had guessed before when Light had lost his memories. I think Light passed along his power, lost his memories, and he's gonna try to get his powers back at some point.
Yeah,
it's Elle pretty much without even knowing what the Death Note was able to pretty much guess everything that happened.
Yeah, so it's and now this just now with no, we talked about this. Now without L, the whole show is going to be different.
I know.
Now.
L has been in the show since like episode 1 or 2. Like he's been the second half of the show.
Yeah.
This is like okay. People debate on if L or Light was the main character.
Yeah.
That's how important L is.
Yeah.
This is like if Light died in episode 25 instead of L, and the show kept going.
Yeah. So like, and we're gonna find out if the show can still keep. I mean, obviously it did because it's 37 episodes, but we'll find out what the show was like without L. And we should talk about this too. Like a lot of people probably would have thought, why didn't this happen before the time skip? But they couldn't do the time skip right after this scene. Like
I know they had to like show a little bit of like the backlash of like what happens.
Yeah, without L because like if you just do a 6-year time jump right after this, then it's kind of like
right.
Like no one really because like too we don't really know what's gonna happen. Like we don't know how the case moves forward now. Like hey, let's just kill LFL and then the case is still going.
And then 5 years later, okay, like no, slow it down a little bit. You gotta show what happens after that.
And we talked about this too, like, L had to kind of die too before the time skip, because if he was still solving the killer case, like, 6 years later, then it would ruin, it would ruin his character. Like,
right, like, he, in a year, like, basically narrowed it down to Light.
Yeah.
Like he, like, knew it was Light, he just couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
You tell me in another 5 years he couldn't prove it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, unless something was gonna happen, but, like, even, like, still, like, when he lost his memories and stuff, like he still wasn't fooled. So like, what would Light there was nothing Light would have done that like
would have made like would have made L think that he wasn't Kira.
Yeah, so he had to die kind of before the time jump. So
right, because he was like the only one that still thought Light was Kira.
Yeah,
like everyone else said they were like that basically been proven like okay, Light is not Kira.
Yeah, so that's basically the end of the video. Like I said, we had to like if we tried to do this by like in a rush, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
I know, like this episode, this review is as long as the episode.
Yeah, like we talked about, like this was so much build up like since episode 2. Like
I know, right? Like this had to happen.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say is a little like disappointing is like Light was not the one to write his name.
Yeah, that would be it.
But like, cause that would have been like such a satisfying thing.
Yeah.
But like I still think this is really good. Like Light got rid of Rem and L and 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
And he got to like have L die in his arms.
Yeah. Like,
so I think this is still plenty satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. Especially too, like, because it would have been cool, like, right before like L died, we found out what his real name was too.
Right.
Like, and but other than that, this episode's like still an A+. You could say like, why wouldn't that put it down to an A? But like, it's just I think it's just us mainly nitpicking and stuff like that. So, yeah,
I give this an A+. Like I said, this is my favorite episode.
But no, I'm saying it still is an A+. I think it's not my favorite episode of the series so far.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. We're not gonna do any plugs because we're gonna be making a ton of videos and stuff today. So I think too, like I'm not gonna upload these like singly. I'll just upload these like one after another. Just because if I try to upload these all singly now and stuff, like we won't get this done at all. We're also going to make a channel update video today, too.
Yeah, because Death Note was like a big thing that we've been doing. So once that's out of the way, we'll have a lot more time.
Yeah, so we'll talk to you guys
later.